Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Hello, squaddies. I hope you all are having a fantastic day. Happy Wednesday, wherever you are in the world. Hope it is beautiful. I I've been just so enjoying New York's weather. Like we had snow a couple days ago, now it's bright sunshine, and yeah, it's amazing. It's a little cold, yes, of course, it's winter, but it's beautiful. And my word, what's going on with our faves? Well, talk about winter. Look at our faves. I mean, can you just look at these photos? I know I posted a whole bunch of them in the our community page yesterday, and oh my word, I think I overloaded everybody with a whole bunch of pictures, but I couldn't help myself. They're just so amazing. But anyway, I didn't even say welcome to Facts and Two Cents, just in case you didn't know where you were. It's like, where am I? What podcast is this exactly? This is Facts and Two Cents. I got a little excited about our faves. So welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Petal. Um, and we are just jonesing on all our wonderful, wonderful photos. But again, I hope you guys have had a great time. Just, like me, dining out on these photos. I mean, I think these two are my absolute favorites. And then I'll see another two, and then they're going to be my total favorites. But right now, I think these two are my favorites. I mean, may they just be forever this happy. That's all you want from them, right? But before I even go forward, I want to say hi to all my friends in the chat. Hello, my friends. How are you all doing? Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Connie, hanging out with us from Switzerland. Cannot speak at the moment. Switzerland. And Connie is used to the snow. So this is just like, oh, this is every day in Switzerland. I don't know. Is it snowing there right now? But we know it's snowing in, they had snow in Vancouver, that's for sure. And we had a little bit of it here in New York. So, hello, Emerald. How are you? Oh, it's so refreshing to see the Sussexes so happy and getting so much awesome reception. I know, they're getting such an awesome reception. And so, hello, Connie. She just sort of she's ran off to her pedicure. But I'm so happy Emerald had a moment to drop in and say hello. And of course, our faves. And who else is here? Fancy is here. Hello, Fancy. And Nolathandu hanging out with us from South Africa. Nolathandu is probably like, oh, it's not snowing here. So, yeah. Um, Ladybird is here and Raphael is here. Hello, my friends. Our awesome moderator, Karen M, is here. Hello, Karen. How are you? And who else is here? Let's see. Oh, Gwen is here. Hello, Gwen. And Lottie is here. Hi, Lottie. And who else is here? Leslie F is here. Hello, Leslie. How are you doing? Ladybird. Hello, Ladybird. And who else? I'm just like scrolling down to see who else is here. Kenitha is here. Hello, Kenitha. And we'll say hello to all of our other friends as they come in. And hello to all of our friends who are listening, but not necessarily in the chat at the moment. And of course, if you are new at subscribing, it takes a week to get onto the live chat, only because we do that to sort of weed out trolls, which the other day I was outside. And so it was one of those very impromptu, let me just jump on a live because it's nice out kind of thing. And then I wasn't able to set up the filter. And so we had a few trolls into the chat. So we filter it by making sure that people are subscribed for at least a week before you can get in on the live chat. So anyways, welcome one and all. But again, back to our faves. Oh my goodness. Of course, we know that they are in Vancouver for the celebration, the 1 year to go celebration, because 1 year from now would be the Invictus Games in Vancouver and Whistler. And so right now they're in Whistler, they're in the mountains, they're doing all the snow stuff yesterday and then today, and then tomorrow, Lord willing, they get to Vancouver and they're going to be doing, I guess in Vancouver they're going to be doing just the regular, what we know, sports that they do in, for example, the regular Invictus games. And so, but I think they're also going to add curling and stuff like that to it. So it'll be very interesting. If you've watched the Olympics, you've seen curling. It's one of those things that is the dullest thing in the world. But then you're so fascinated by the dullness that you'll actually kind of like it after a while. I don't know. That's how I feel. Maybe other people feel very, very differently. But that's how I feel. Like, I'm like, this is the most boring thing in the world, but it's so absolutely fascinating. So yeah. But I will be very interesting to see their take on it. But very cool. Anyways, but I mean, I can't get enough of these photos. I'm like, oh, now, and looking at these photos, of course, I had to use it again in this one. Looking at these photos, you could understand why those on Shutter Islands are so jealous. I mean, come on. It's just, they don't have to do anything. They just have to just come out looking their most amazing selves as they do, dressed down in a coat and boots and jeans, and just look flat out amazing. And you can see why there's the jealousy. You can see why, because again, they literally don't have to do anything for people to be like, oh, they are amazing. They're amazing. They just have a star quality and others just don't. And it's kind of one of those things where you're like, look, people, you're never going to get to this point. You're never going to get this. This is not who you are. Accept it and move on. Accept it. It's kind of like if you can't beat them, join them kind of thing. You can't beat this. You can't teach this. You can't, there's no way you can go and learn this. It's either you have it or you don't. And the others over and across the pond just don't. I mean, how you can't teach this. I mean, look at them. How do you teach that? And so I love it. I absolutely love it. And the camera just loves them. And if you leave it up to reporters and especially reporters from across the pond, it'll be all about them. Thank goodness there are reporters, journalists, actual journalists from the US and from Canada that are reporting on the actual meaning of the games and why they're there. And, they are reporting on the fact that there are these 55 vets there from around the world who are practicing and learning how to use the equipment and how to basically ski and all of that using it's an adaptive sports, they call it. And so like Harry was sitting in the skis yesterday where you had to sit and strap him in, and it was just like a lot of them are there doing that. And so Harry and Meghan are meeting them, getting to know them and all of that stuff. And also getting to know the people from the First Nations and all of that. So that's really why they're there. But if you leave it up to photographers and UK journalists, this is all you're getting. Now, I don't mind because it's gorgeous. But it's so easy to get away from the why they're there and just focus on this. But we're going to focus on this for a minute. We're going to get to why they're there in a second. But, it's so funny. I ran into these photos and I was just like, okay, people of the UK, especially ladies of the UK, especially those that love to hate on Meghan because, Harry, they want Harry and they can't have Harry, and they hate Meghan because they can't have Harry. At this point, again, is like I said, is one of those things you just have to cut your losses. Because, if you remember how Harry described Meghan when he saw that face on Instagram with the dog nose, the animated dog filter thing that she had on her nose. I think it was her ears, actually, dog's ears, and fell in love with her. I'm sorry, ladies, but this is who you're trying to compete with. This is who you're trying to be like, no, Harry should marry me and not her. How could he have married her? I'm sorry, ladies, but I don't think Harry is going to leave her for you. This man in the middle there, enjoying himself yesterday, he is happy with that face. Who is absolutely beautiful. I know, not, beauty is not necessarily skin deep, but goodness, it can't hurt. And she is stunning. She is beautiful. You can't compete. You can't compete on this physical level. You're certainly not going to compete on a, emotional and all of that stuff. You're just not on the level. And I'm like, ladies, just, suck it up and move on and live your life and stop being on Twitter moaning day after day after day, trying to come up with some way that you think that Harry's going to leave her for you. It's just not going to happen. And I saw these photos. I was like, ladies, have some self-respect. It's time to pack it up. So I am just like, look at this. Harry just trying out the skis or adaptive skis yesterday was so fun. I'm looking forward to. I don't know if they're going to be doing any public events. I know the event last night was private, so I don't know if they're going to be doing public events today. I know when they were in Dusseldorf and also The Hague, when they went for the 1 year, actually went for Harry when he went to The Hague, and then they both went to Dusseldorf. I think one day was, at least when they came in and they left, it was very public because they went out, they did, met the crowd and all of that stuff there. But the rest of the things that they did was very private. So we didn't get a chance to see any of the things that they did. It was in the stadium, and so it was private. And so I don't know if they're going to be doing more public stuff, but I know that I saw online on X that they are meeting with athletes at the same place again. So I haven't seen any photos from today. All of this, obviously, it was from yesterday, and I'm sure you've seen all these photos from yesterday. I just hadn't had a chance to talk about it, so that's why I'm talking about it. So yeah. And again, the reason why they're there is, as you can see, a bunch of different athletes and stuff around them. Harry was, this is him putting on his, the adaptive skis, and other vets there as well. And, there are videos of them, which I posted on our community page, of Harry trying and, skiing down. And at the end, Meghan is out there, applauding him coming down. It must have been so much fun. Absolutely so much fun. I think they said he's going to try the skeleton thing today. I'm like, oh, those things make me nervous. So pray for safety. I don't know. I'm so skittish when it comes to ice. So, these are them and some of the vets and people working and volunteers and stuff working there yesterday. And I don't know what we did yesterday, and I don't know what we've done in our life to get 2 posts from Sussex.com, but there we are. We were graced with 2. So this was the first one they did. And this is the thing that I've always been saying, that I really don't think Harry and Meghan need to go on social media, go back to social media. It's so not necessary. One of our squaddies, they were able to pull up. They don't have the actual numbers, but in wherever they found it, the estimate is that to their website, they get between 1.1 million and 1.2 million visitors per month to their website. And I mean, I'm sure, maybe they need more, or maybe they want more, or whatever. But what that is showing me is that people want their content, so people can come and find it. And now that they have the Sussex.com, where it gives you stuff that they're doing that is apart from Invictus Foundation. So you have the Invictus Foundation stuff and production stuff. And you also have the Sussex.com, which is like included in Invictus and all the other stuff they do. That's all that's needed. People could just go there and it's right there, and hopefully they follow this where, today, yesterday we got 2 posts. And so if that's all they do, people would find this and post it, because this is all over the place. And so they don't need social media. They could just use the platform that they have, and people will come and find the information. And so who needs all that stuff with social media? So anyway, so they posted this yesterday. So just in case you have not yet gone on Sussex.com and you have not yet seen this, which if you're a squatty, shame on you. You should have gone there by now. So shame. Okay, enough of the shamings. Invictus, 1 year to go. Today, Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, kicked off Invictus Game Vancouver Whistler 2025 1 year to go event at the top of Whistler Blackcomb. The couple met with competitors from around the world who are part of the participating nation's training camp, where they are learning adaptive winter sports alongside competitors. The Duke tried the adaptive sit ski for the first time. The Duke and Duchess are looking forward to spending an incredible couple of days in British Columbia as they prepare for the first ever winter hybrid games. The couple would like to give their heartfelt thanks to the event's organizers, sponsors, Invictus Games Foundation, True Patriot Love, volunteers, and the 4 host First Nations for welcoming the games onto their land. And again, these are indigenous nations, and so they, their land is sacred, so they have been working with Invictus. And so I mean, I've been really enjoying how Invictus have just really been so respectful, and you have to be right, respectful to the people there. And so hopefully in the future they'll be doing a lot of more stuff together, so they have a mutual love and respect for each other, and it's just beautiful to watch. And talk about the First Nations, then last night we got this in evening with the First Nations, and look at the artwork in this place. I saw this, I was like, oh, can I just come? That is just so amazing. And so the post says, this evening the Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, toured the Squamish Lil'wat Cultural Center with Youth Ambassador Chief Nelson and Wilson Williams. A reception at the center followed, where artists who created the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler logo, that's the logo up top there, debuted their artwork. This collaboration marks the first time all 4 First Nations have come together to develop a piece of art. The evening and presentation were extremely meaningful. IG25 and the people could not be more proud to share the artist's piece with the world. The couple recognizes the significance of the First Nations communities welcoming the Invictus Games onto their sacred land, and are thankful for the warmth and hospitality. And I just love this logo so much. It's just like, wow, because they're all 4 First Nations, their artists came up with individual work. And when you look at this sort of, and I should have brought in the 4 and I forgot, because I did it in another episode, and I should have done that. But from the 4 pieces of work from the 4 First Nations, they did this. And so they took little bits and pieces from each 4 and created this, I guess. I mean, and that's what it looks like. But it is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. And I'm just like, this absolutely is probably one of my favorite Invictus logos. So it's absolutely beautiful. So next podcast, I'll have the 4 individual pieces, and we'll see like, how they were able to take little bits and pieces and put it onto this one. But I just think it's beautiful. Everybody is different. So, but me, I just think it's beautiful. And then Levi Nelson, he was one of the artists last night. He posted this. He says, I met a prince on Valentine's Day. I love that. I had the honor of meeting the Duke and Duchess, Prince Harry and Meghan, this evening in Whistler to discuss the meaning of the design for the Invictus Game 2025. What a moment. It felt like a dream. I could barely remember what I said. They were so gracious. I even walked and talked with Meghan for a bit. Prince Harry was so impressed with the design. He said it was his favorite. It felt special that they gave their time to have an audience with me and other artists. because as soon as we walked with them into the, I don't know how to say that, something Ken Hall at the SLCC, they got swarmed, and then I had to go and hobnob with the other hobnobs. The Invictus game celebrates wounded war veterans and sponsors them to compete in sports as part of their healing journey. Sports like wheelchair curling and sit skiing. The Duke is a veteran, and this is his heartfelt project. I am honored to be a part of the branding and to put forth Coast Salish design in collaboration with the 4 host nations. No, I did not get pictures. Had to put away my phone, I guess. Oh my goodness. I just absolutely love this. I really, really love this. Yeah. So kudos for him last night at getting to meet Harry and Meghan. So again, this was I guess they had the 3 and then they took some, because a lot of the other 3 designs have some elements of this image has some elements of the other 3 designs in it. So absolutely, absolutely beautiful. I'd love to see this on like a bag or something, or a backpack or something. I just think it's really, really cool. What else is happening? I'm going to jump into the comments in a bit, but Invictus Games tweeted about it. It says, the IGF executive team and our patron, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, along with Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, today were introduced to some of the various forms of winter adaptive sports that the competitors will be experiencing next year at the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025, presented by ATCO and Boeing. Thank you to the Whistler Blackcomb and Adaptive Program for educating us. And of course, that's Harry and Meghan with some of the vets that they were hanging out with yesterday. And I just thought it was really, really fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. That they seem to have had a fantastic time. And then, I have to post this video of when they were leaving. This really huge crowd just sort of lined up outside with I don't know, maybe a clubhouse or whatever it was, in Whistler, where they were leaving. They were coming down the stairs and headed to their car, and tons of people were there. It was just like, oh wow, cool. Very cool. And those on Shutter Island would be very, very like, what? They're not royals? How could the people be lined up to say hello or to cheer them on? You know how they are. And so these photos were the ones I used on a little Valentine card yesterday. These were my other favorites. I mean, I just love, love, love them. Absolutely love them. So I am going to actually hang on. Okay, so I am going to actually put this in our comments. I'm going to invite anyone who wants to come on and share with us their thoughts about yesterday, what they are thinking. For a couple of minutes. Anyone who wants to call in, the link is in the chat, so definitely call in. And so I'm just going to give everyone 2 minutes and to call in and share with us your thoughts. But I just thought it was a fantastic day. I'm looking forward to whatever they're doing. I'm looking forward to whatever they're doing today and tomorrow. Maybe we'll see it, maybe we won't. But we have so much from yesterday. So very, 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 very exciting. I have so many photos. I was just like, oh no, that'll be a little bit much to post all of these photos, but I'll post some of them as we go along. So yeah, very, very exciting. So the link is in the chat if you want to call in for 2 minutes and share with us your thoughts on what you thought what you thought about yesterday and other things, I guess. So that's fine. But mostly, as the squaddies on social media, on X, the Shutter Island, basically, their press, and there are a whole bunch of stories that have come out in the last couple of days but we have been mute. So we have pressed the mute button on them. So that's why I'm not saying anything about any of it. But on the 17th is when we unmute. So then we'll talk about those. But for yesterday, today, and tomorrow, it's all about our faves. So keep it to our faves. And so at least try. So if you're calling in, so 2 minutes if you want to call in, link is in the chat, definitely call in. So yeah, but I'm just gonna go in the chat and see what you guys are saying about our faves. Oh, the Impossible says Harry and Meghan looked fabulous for a private dinner last night. They had a beautiful. She had a beautiful red top coat, I guess. Harry had a black box in his hand. Well, it was, it was Valentine's Day, so whatever it is they did for Valentine's evening, I hope they had fun. But part of the evening, they were at the First Nation event, that when they did the unveiling of the artwork. So yeah. So I'm sure they had a wonderful time. And Louis says, it's a beautiful logo highlighting the Indigenous First Nation. Yeah, I mean, it's so stunning. I can't wait to see it on a bag. I don't know why I had this image of this thing on a bag. And so I would love to see it on a bag. Yeah. Or just, artwork that you could put on your wall, like those, I don't know what you call them, but these big drape things that you can just sort of hang, fabric that you can hang on your wall. I would love to see that, like, on a massive wall, and there's just massive hanging fabric artwork. I don't know. Those are the images I have with that. It's just beautiful. Let's see. And in that room too, I mean, gosh, that was just stunning. Absolutely stunning. Let's see. And Lewis says, if anyone remembers the founding pen's nibs, the First Nation symbol, now we know where it comes from. I don't understand what you mean. I have no idea what this means. And explain. I don't know what you mean. The founding pen's nibs. Don't know. I don't know what founding pen is. I was like, founding pen? I don't know. Let's see. On the Impossible says, Pedal, Harry wanted a woman in his and other of his exes, if he married them, he would have divorced already. None of his exes had Harry's best interest. Oh, okay, I think I understand. I was just like, he wanted a woman. I was like, oh, G-rated. But I understand what you mean. Yeah, I mean, and again, Harry too wasn't, at the time he was dating like Chelsea and whatever the other girl's name is, Cressida, I think her name was. I mean, he was a young guy and going through his mess. He was not in a place to be marrying anyone, honestly. And so he didn't have the maturity or the kind of support or the kind of, honestly, maturity that he has, say, with Meghan. Meghan is, she's a mature woman who has lived, who has had a life. So she was able to handle, and I'm sure it's still difficult. I mean, he is a vet. He does, and still did have PTSD in a bit, and he still has his battles. So it's not, we see Harry smiling and all of that stuff, when we see him, but the day-to-day of life as a veteran and having to live with someone like that, and Harry going through his battles and having to deal with his own demons, I wouldn't wish that on a young girl, like, say, when he was marrying, when he was dating Chelsea or Cressida, they were kids. They couldn't handle stuff like that. That would be so unfair to put that on them. And so none of them were in a place, and I'm sure those girls had their own issues to deal with as well, just being young girls, and then you having to deal with the press and all of that stuff invading their privacy all the time, and then you had a monarchy that just wouldn't protect them. And so none of them were in a place where that would have been marrying would have been beneficial to any one of them. So I think stuff happened when they happen, and he happened to find someone who is mature enough, who can basically put her foot down and says, you know what, I will not have you yelling in my face. I remember Harry describing when he screamed at Meghan and everything in the room stopped, even the sauce on the fire stopped boiling. That's how it felt. And, I I can't imagine a young girl having to put up with stuff like that, and then realizing that it was trauma from childhood. That is way too much. That is too much for adult, to deal with, where Meghan had to put her foot down and be like, oh no. So yeah, they weren't in a place where that would have been beneficial to any of them. So, and yeah, if they got married, I could totally see that them not being together, because again, having to live with that, ooh, that is way too much. Even Meghan, struggled. Hello, we know what happened with Meghan's mental health, and not that, a lot of it had to do with the press and the monarchy just being neglectful, but there's a lot of combination of a whole lot of things. So yeah, let's see. Little Max says, cookies and cream. Hopefully they turn off the comment screen. I hope the traffic is so high that the website is updated daily, to keep the rangers sane. To keep the rangers insane. Also, no need for the paper with the current website. Yeah, exactly. And they don't have a comment section on there, so they don't have to deal with people's comments at all. So that's one thing. And that's the thing. I mean, yes, they can, if they go on social media, they can turn off their comments. That's fine. But, if they're on X, people can still retweet your stuff or quote tweet you if you're, and I mean, if I were them, I would completely stay away until they absolutely know for sure that Mark Zuckerberg and the others, others who own social media platforms have done a really amazing, rebrand. Well, not rebrand, but I don't know, putting really safety mechanisms to protect people from all the, I mean, if you've been on X, it's like it damage your mental health in a day, and so unless they've put in those safety measures, I don't see Harry and Meghan. I if it were me, I would stay far away from it. Absolutely far away. There's no reason for them to be there. If they walk outside, everybody's like, ah! They don't need it for attention at all. I mean, they just updated their website, and those on Shutter Island have made it like, so you would think it's like people, all it was a website update. That's all it was. They don't need social media. Anything they do gets worldwide attention. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, Katie, thank you so much, Katie V, for your super sticker. Thank you for your support. I appreciate. Thank you. Church Nelly is here. Hey, Church Nelly, how are you? She's like pedalettes. I love it. How are you and all wonderful squatties from South Carolina? I hope you're doing well. And Louis says the photos of Meghan smiling behind Harry. There was a similar IG in Germany when Meghan did when she waved hi everyone. It was beautiful. Oh, so there you go. Now we have one from Vancouver. So yeah, and I love those behind the back photos as well. It's like, oh, we don't have to guess who that is. So let's see. What else are you guys saying here? Eco Girl says, hello, Eco Girl. I think M&H are showing the world they are moving forward and setting an amazing platform that's going to be a global reach. I'm really enjoying all their activities and the new website. Yeah, so you've been on the website. Yeah. So there you go. Yes, I'm very excited. And I think that's why those across the pond are flaking out. They're like freaking out. Again, don't be surprised if you see Prince William Monday morning bright and early, like, I'm back. So there. Yeah, they are. I'm very excited for what they're going to be doing. Anne Lewis, she says it's always a fountain pen. Okay, if the fountain pen, when you put, when we pots of ink, Okay, so when you put it in a pot of ink, the nib, okay, the point, have that design. Oh, now we know where the design originated. Those pens came after the quells. I don't know what the quells is. I'm sorry. I am so clueless with this. It's just like it is like one of my clueless moments. I don't know what the quells is. So you gotta do a lot of translations, and she's gonna be like, "This girl, where are you from? Why don't you know what quells is? I don't know what quells is." So, but I'm understanding. Okay, so it comes. Okay, so the nib have that design. Okay, did not realize. Thank you. It's like I mean, I know now thinking about it, it's just like, okay, so it's that sort of curve and point thing at the tip of the pen, the fountain pen. Okay, now I see. Okay. Thank you, but you gotta explain what quells is. I don't know what that is. So that's why I'm happy we have a very, very knowledgeable community, because when I am clueless, I can get schooled, and I need schooling right now. So thank you, Anne. Let's see. Um, um, Bonnie Mighty says Megan had her hand in her pocket and Harry tapped on her. Oh, wait a minute. Megan had her hand in her pocket and Harry tapped her on the hand. Which photo are we talking about? um Not sure. Maybe one of the other. I know there was one where she was walking in the snow, and or at least she looked like she was about to walk in the snow, at least from the video, and Harry sort of tapped her and held her hand. So I'm not sure if that's the one you're talking about, so could be. But that was very cool. That was like, Harry, she can walk on her own, but it's snow and Harry's protecting his lovely one. So there. Let's see. Um, hmm. Hi, Patricia. Have a great time at work. Thank you for popping in for like a minute. I'm happy you're here. So let's see. Elizabeth says you can't compete where you don't compare. Exactly, exactly. For those ladies who are like, Harry and Meghan, how dare Harry not marry me, and how dare he marry her? Like, yeah, you kind of can't compete. You kind of cannot compete. So there. Um, let's see. Cookies and Cream says, oh, she's talking to Little Max, says the honor royals and their racist disciples are going to stay glued to the website. And that's the only way they can get any information, since they have no access to the Sussexes, LOL. And I saw online that Harry was actually, there was a video, there's a photo too, but there's also a video of Harry walking with this very tall gentleman, and then Meghan is right in front of them walking. And actually, this photo, actually, let me scroll back to that photo. Hang on. Okay, so is the top photo on the left? Actually, I edited it down so it's just Meghan in the photo, but in the back, Harry is in the back there, and he is talking to a very tall gentleman right next to him to his left. And turns out he is, I guess, a host on ABC, and his name is something Reeves. He's Christopher Reeves, the Superman who was Superman. He passed away now, but that's his son. And so, and he works for ABC, and apparently he had posted on his Instagram that he is on assignment there, and he posted a photo of him on the mountain there in Whistler. And so since he was talking to Harry, and then there were these huge cameras right there with them and was filming them, so I'm assuming, because he said he was on assignment, I'm assuming he's filming something for ABC. So whichever show he's on, maybe Good Morning America or one of those. I think his name is Will Reeves. I think Will or Scott, something like that, one of them. And so I'm assuming, because there were cameras there, I saw like a boom mic and all of that stuff there. So I have to believe that they were filming something for ABC. And I saw somewhere else they saw the cameras and they assumed it was Netflix, and Netflix was like, no, it's not us. Those are not our cameras. So since it's Will and he said it was an assignment, I have to believe that it's something from ABC. So yeah. Let's see. Scrolling down. Com said quills. Okay, these are feathers. People use feathers. Oh, they used feathers to write in the old days. Oh, okay. Now I think I'm gonna have to go. I think I've heard that before, because they would dip it in the ink and then write. Okay. Now I think I'm understanding this whole thing. Thank you, Com. So I guess next time I'm going to come with my what have I learned about fountain pens and quills the next time. So thank you. Okay, very interesting. And look, I'm not surprised that it'll come from them, and I mean, their creativity is amazing. And so, yeah, very, very interesting. Oh, Kathy Gatti saying the same thing. Pedal, quills, and nibs, writing instruments dipped into ink pots. Okay. Thank you. I just didn't know. I didn't know what they were called. I had no idea. I'm sorry. Now, don't get me wrong. In the Caribbean, when I was growing up as a child, but I was very young. So I don't remember. I mean, I remember using, most of it, I remember ink getting all over my hand using fountain pens. I just never paid attention to the design of it and the tip of it and all of that. I don't know. I guess because I hated it so much, because ink would always be on my hand and then it would get on my clothes. And then in school we wore white blouse and it was just a mess. I was a mess in ink all the time. I think it gave me like trauma. And so I think I've been like pushing it out of my mind. So I don't remember. I didn't know that's what they were called. And so, but I remember those ink jugs and I remember the fountain pens. I just didn't know about or any of this stuff. So thank you for the education. Now I'm gonna have to go back and try to see all those things that I missed because I hated ink jugs. So there. Yes. And even though I was laughing at King Charles when when he became king and he had that issue with the pen and the ink, I totally, it's just like, yeah, that's kind of what they do. It's like you get ink all over your hand. So, and it just sort of stays there and you have to wash and wash and wash. It's just, yeah. Dawn, giving more education, says quills were the first pens. A feather, then a stick with a nib, then fountain pens with ink pots. I hated blotting the puddles of ink. Yep. Yeah. So, I mean, I think when I got to be, I don't know, maybe 8, 9, around there, we didn't use that anymore. Again, I only remember it because I was very, very, very young when we were using it. And then after that, we didn't use that again. So I think that's why I forgot about all of that. So yeah. Let's see. Karen says Harry wanted her hand. She probably got hand warmers in her pocket. Could be. I won't blame her. Yeah. So But yeah, Harry definitely wasn't wearing gloves or anything. I mean, he didn't even dress like it was all that cold yesterday. And someone was saying it was just like 0 degrees up there. And so, but I mean, maybe he was wearing, those thermal things. And so you don't have to really but you don't have to wear bulky stuff. So maybe that's what it does. But yeah, he just definitely wanted her hand. She was like merrily going along. And he was just like, I need your hand. Let me just hold your hand and make sure you don't fall. Harry fights with the ground and everything. So yeah. Again, let's see. Rohini says, Pedal with school did you went to, don't tell me you were a convent girl. LOL. No, I went to the public school. I went to what did I go? Bonaccord Public School, I guess it was called. No, I went to public school, not a convent school. So, but when I was very young, we did use those ink things. Ugh, gross. Again, you put little kids in white blouse and you give them an ink jug, yeah. You're just basically asking for trouble. And that was me just about every day with ink all over the place. So yeah. Let's see. Rohini says, we learned to write with a fountain pen to learn good penmanship. Yeah, we definitely had to learn good penmanship. I always had great handwriting because it was drilled into me. And now I've lost all of it because, well, I don't even write anymore. Very rarely do I have to write anything. So yeah, in the Caribbean, you definitely have a lot of people have great penmanship. And then, it's like diction and penmanship and all of those things were very, very, very important as in school in the Caribbean. So let's see. Wait, something happened? Cookies and Cream says, thank you all so much. It's been crazy last several days, but he says he feels much better. He's just getting a little dizzy at times. Whoa. This is a family member, I'm assuming, Cookies and Cream. So sorry to hear this. Oh my goodness. Well, whatever the situation is, I'm glad they're feeling better. He's feeling better. My goodness, stuff happens, man. That is crazy. But I'll definitely pray for your family member, Cookies and Cream. Again, I don't know what the situation is, so if you'd like to share, please do. But if not, no pressure at all. So yeah. Let's see. Lorna said, "Oh, we're on fountain pens. Pedal, I know fountain pens, but didn't use it myself. Good for you. You're not missing anything. Like I said, nobody enjoyed having a ton of ink all over their bodies, especially their white blouse. So yeah. Let's see. Let's see. S says, to my fellow Canucks, please call the CBC about their garbage reporting of the Sussexes yesterday. I'm calling my MP. Okay, I don't know what happened there. I hadn't heard or seen anything. The one thing a clip I saw from one of the Canadian outlets was very factual, very just there's no gossipy anything like that. There was just very factual information about the games and about the vets and also Harry and Meghan visiting, but it was really about the vets and what the games is about, which was a really good report because I retweeted it on X. So I hadn't seen this. I don't know what it's about, but since you said it, I thank you for calling it out. They're always going to be one or many of these outlets. Again, they are about making money, and negativity is what sells a lot of the times. So unfortunately, a lot of them they go towards the negative. Here, hold on one second. Let me just drink some water because I'm getting the hiccups. And my grandmother taught me when you have the hiccups to gulp water and then it calms it. So there. and I just did. So hopefully it goes. Let's see what else in there in the chat. Just gonna scroll up for a bit. Hmm. Com says, yes, I heard one report from CBC and it was horrible. I don't know what, or maybe you want to share what was horrible about it. I mean, I could imagine what was horrible about it because, again, a lot of these outlets tends to go with the British press, especially, Canadian press will tend to go with what the British press is doing or what especially the Daily Mail, because, again, cheap clicks. So yeah. CBC got into gossip and using Talk TV. Yeah. On the Sussex says CBC is a government-owned station. There should be no gossip or bias. And yeah, whenever, which is what I thought, whenever stuff like this is, they defer a lot of times to the British press, and then when you defer to the British press, this is exactly what you're going to get, unfortunately. And so it's just very, very it's very sad. But again, I saw on another news outlet a video clip from another channel, I guess, and the news outlet and the news thing that they did on it was really good. So yeah. Thank you though for speaking up. And Cookies and Cream says my son-in-law is in the hospital for flu and pneumonia. Oh wow. They also said that he had congestive heart failure and he was in the ICU on oxygen. He's now on regular room and off the oxygen. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, I'm glad that he is now I guess he's hopefully on his road to recovery. At least he's better. My goodness. Definitely pray for him. So sorry, Cookies and Cream. This is a little traumatic. Not a little, but yeah, wow. So we'll be praying. I know there are praying people in our community, so definitely be praying for him and for you, for strength for you and your family. Wow. Thank you for sharing. I just saw little pieces of things in the chat. So I'm sorry. I hope you didn't feel pressure to say, but I'm glad that you shared with us. So now we can pray specifically for your son-in-law. So yes, please send get well soon to him. That would be really amazing. So wow, I'm telling you, life is something else. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, and Anne says, I hope IG will control which media will be at the games, as was done in Germany. Unfortunately, the games are the specific country are the ones that decide on the media. I mean, even in Germany, like the Sun was there, they were part of the accredited press team. And we didn't realize that, but then found out later that, yeah, they allow the British tabloids to be there. Harry and Meghan, the Invictus Foundation can't dictate to the games in what country, what press to bring. I guess the individual games decide what they want. And so in a perfect world, the Sun, the Mirror, Daily Mail, Express would be never go anywhere around the Sussexes. But unfortunately, this world isn't perfect. So, this world is not perfect. So, in Germany, the Sun was allowed because obviously we shared pictures of one of the Sun's tabloid gossipers in a section right across from the Sussexes, really close to them, and I was like, what is he doing? And apparently, he was accredited press. So there you go. But it was really weird him being that close and you could see him sneaking the photos. It was just really creepy. Very, very, very creepy. Um, let's see. Um, yes, very true. Very true, Church Nelly. The prayers of this community, of our squatty community, it's very, very powerful. So we'll just keep praying. So yeah. Um, S says about what the CBC said. The CBC is not getting away with it. This is not Britain. 70% want Chucky gone. Not on my watch. You go, S. You go. And that's what, that's what we need. I mean, in each country, join up with your fellow squatties and really make us think. It's kind of what we had to do here. You have the odd ones that still do this nonsense. But for example, there was a time where you had Camilla Tominey, you had Roy Anika, Robert Jobson is still with ABC sometimes. But you had all of these British reporters on American TV, and we just went, we did the tweeting at them, sending letters. We did everything to make sure they know that these people, and then sending them links to what they've been doing. And then you very rarely see them now on American television. Very, very, very rarely. And so do what you need to do to make sure that they understand that that kind of reporting is not acceptable. So good for you. Let's see. A few more before we end. Little Mac says, Bernice, I guess this reporter is unaware of karma hitting many of the British journalists. Let us know what happens to that reporter. I know, karma has just been, and you're like, it's just, you don't want to think, but then you're like, oh, I guess it's karma. With all of the people that's been attacking, there's even this guy from GB News that, they would post clips on X of just the vile things this guy have said about the Sussexes. So vile. And come to find out, the guy was a stark raving drunk. He recently, I think it was last week, wrote this article, and it seems that they all do this. They have horrible childhood, whether it's alcohol, whatever. And then they go to the Daily Mail to do this big I came to Jesus moment thing. And now my life is getting better. And so he basically vomited on in this article to the Daily Mail about just being, literally could not go an hour without a drink, and he would, not to be gross, but he would, all of that stuff would come out of him, and it was just like horrendous. And then, you realize, like, wait a minute. So you have been saying all of this stuff about the Sussexes and branding them, all of this stuff. Meanwhile, you're sitting there a stark raving drunk. And so when I look at, and that's why we were talking about the others that, whether it's Camilla Tominey or, or the Angela Levins or whatever, is like all of these people have had miserable lives. And instead, again, I'm happy that, that he seemed to be on his way to recovery, at least getting help. But you would think their experiences in life would really prompt them to be a better person than to not want other people, could cause other people harm. But for them, it's like, well, I went through this misery, so therefore I need to make your life miserable, especially if you seem to be happy. Oh, no. I went through misery, so therefore your life would be miserable. And it's just really sick to watch that play out. And I'm like, so are we supposed to feel sorry for you after all the nasty things you've said about Harry and Meghan? It's just, it's crazy. It's utterly crazy to watch it play out. But yeah, it's like, karma. Let's see. Missy Gates says, I don't know why the CBC would be groveling to the hateful British press. Shame on them. What crime has the Sussexes committed? Harry married a black woman. They're happy. They moved. They got out of the royal institution. So therefore, let's hate them. Unbelievable. Let's see. S says the reporter's name is Lindsay Duncombe. Is that a girl or a guy? Because I know Lindsay could be guy or girl. So I'm assuming girl. I don't know. So I will look it up and see. But definitely thank you so much for, definitely pursuing that and making sure that Mr. or Miss Lindsay Duncombe does not get away with it. Because it's so weird, because there was a clip, and I may have posted it on our community page, where Meghan is standing next to this guy from Invictus, because he's wearing the Invictus hat, and it looks like he is asking her to take a photo of Harry when Harry was sitting in the sitting skis, and she took the camera, his phone from him, and then took the photo and then gave him the camera, and then this girl who was a reporter, I think she was from either Hello or OK, one of those magazines, who was there, she then put on her Instagram that how Meghan asked her friend or something like that to take a photo of Harry because she wanted to make sure the kids had it. And that is totally not what, when you look at the video, that was totally not what happened. So people started calling her out, and then she, went private. She shut off her comments. And so people were like, you could just delete the lies. But I guess her lies was getting a lot of hits, so she left it there. And so stuff like that, like, come on, really? When you look at the video, that's definitely not what happened. Why would Meghan need to borrow someone's camera to take a photo for her kids when she has her own phone? That makes no sense whatsoever. So it's just like, come on. And yeah, and when you look at the video, that's not what it looks like at all. So, Michelle says, Pedal Piers Morgan how will he do on YouTube? Any thoughts? I don't. I mean, look, when he had a show, they did have a YouTube channel, but I think most on the channel were probably a lot of clips from the show. I don't know if they had a whole show on YouTube. And so the clips, the little short versions of them, did very well, apparently. It has 2.3 million or something like that followers. I wish I had 2.3 million people. So look, I think he would be doing well. He said what you want about Piers Morgan. He does have an audience. It's not as big as, say, Rupert Murdoch would have wanted him to be as the head or the leading face on his channel. And his show definitely did not pull in the ratings that they were hoping to, again, as the leading guy on the show. I mean, they marketed as such. He was the face of that channel. And it didn't do well, but their clips online did well. And so in one way I can understand it is a demotion because, it's YouTube. Hello. And so, but it's doing well. And so now it just, having the longer format, the longer show, whatever, is it going to be doing as well as those clips? I don't know. Will he be able to then, those people who will just flick on their television, can he bring them over to the channel? I don't know, but again, look, YouTube does have an audience. The people make millions on YouTube. There are people with millions and millions and millions of subscribers. Doesn't necessarily mean that all of those people watch their show or tune into whatever. And, but with 2.3 million, I'm sure a few 100,000 watch it. So look, again, say what we want about Piers Morgan, but he does have an audience. He does have an audience. And so for me personally, I wish I had that, that amount of people watching my show or watching my channel. I wish. I don't have that. But what I do appreciate with our channel, even though I'm not even at 10,000 yet, I think I'm at 8,000, between 5,000 and 7,000 people listen to the channel. So I'd rather me have, my 8,000 and then the majority of subscribers actually listen or watch, the episodes. I would not want to have like, 100,000 people subscribe and only 5,000 watching. That would be a little crazy. That would be of no value to me at all. I rather, if I'm going to have 100,000 subscribers, that the majority of those 100,000 actually watch. And so, yeah, so that's why for me, I'm like, okay, my show, my podcast or my channel is growing slowly, but it's growing. But the majority of people who have subscribed actually watch. So I'm happy about that. So, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, look, he is where he is, and I hope he is never on television again. I hope he does not have that kind of platform again. I think the world has had enough of Piers Morgan and his nonsense. The world has had enough of his bullying and his just grossness. And so confining it to YouTube might, it's a demotion, but I think, unless people go to try to find his channel, he's not just readily there. You can just click on your TV and he's there. So I think it's good for everybody. So yeah. Thierry says, I don't know why they are allowed to be on news television trashing an American. It is disgusting and unbelievable. Yeah, it's truly disgusting. And again, it goes back to people. We're in a generation now, or in a time now, where it's all about cheap clicks. No matter, people know the truth, case in point, we've talked about this so many times about that, when that thing happened in New York with those paparazzi chasing the Sussexes. We know, and we talked about this, that reporters, it's like you could see them, they know they were lying. And they were still doing it. And it's just like, oh my gosh. They know it was a lie. They know a lot of the things that they were saying was untrue, but they were still doing it. And it gives them cheap clicks. And that's why, for me, with the Sussexes, I really hope they don't give anybody. I'm sure we saw Harry with that guy from ABC, so maybe he is. But if I were them, I would do my interview and just post it on the site. There is literally no need. With the climate that we have now and with the technology that we have now, literally, you don't need to have an interview. You don't. You literally could put your whatever it is you need on your site, or if you're on social media, you can literally just upload whatever it is, the content, and put it there. You don't need to go on traditional news outlets. You don't need your content on anybody's site, because they have the kind of a platform that people would just run to. And I'm glad that they now have Sussex.com, that they can put more stuff on it. But I think they have to get to a point where they realize the power that they have. They don't need to go to anybody. They can literally just sit there and interview each other and put it on their site, and the world will come and run to it. That is the kind of power, and it just needs people around them to really convince them, like, look, people will run to you. You don't need the ABC, the CBS, and the likes, and NBC. You don't. And so, yeah. But they'll get there, I'm sure. Let's see. And Louis says, PM will survive. We, the squatties, are not concerned about him after his last vile comment about what he wanted done to Harry and Meghan. He can disappear into the abyss, not on this channel. Yeah, it's time for him to go away, and hopefully no. But again, with these men, they always fail up. Dan Wooten had said he was coming back. I have not heard anything from his supposed channel, wherever he was supposedly going. But he's another one that we just hope that the people just don't hire them. And because they really have not faced any consequence. Well, Dan Wooten got. Yeah, I haven't gone on GB News to see because the last time I talked about it, I checked and he was still on their site listed as a presenter. So I haven't checked since then. But I haven't heard that they have fired him. So who knows? But yeah, they need to go away. So, let's see. Cookies and Cream says, it's a shame that these people feel they need to hate and spread lies, they must be very miserable. Yeah, I mean, you've never seen a person who is happy do stuff like that. Happy people don't behave like this. They don't. And so you always know that they live miserable, miserable lives. And then a lot of them, they stay online all day doing this sort of thing. I'm like, goodness, grievances. I don't know how you function if you're that hateful all the time. Like, ooh, incredible. Little Max says, I love how these people want you to believe that they know what Meghan is thinking. I know, right? Feeling, etc. Whatever meeting her without ever meeting her or speaking to her. Glad they called out her lies. Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. I mean, even crazier is to hear some reporters, they're like, yeah, well, she would be feeling this and she would be feeling that. I was like, no, that's what you thinking she would be feeling. She might be feeling something completely different and you don't know anything. You're just putting your feelings onto projecting your feelings onto someone. Amazing. Utterly amazing. Let's see. Robert is joining in from Rome. Oh, wait. Right, there we go. Helen fellow squatties joining in from Rome. A quill usually had a long feather attached to the pen nib. Thank you so much. I've gotten all this schooling today on a quill and the pen nib. See? Thank you for bringing back my childhood trauma. My childhood ink pen trauma. Let's see. I am happy you're here, Robert. Let's see. Yes, exactly. Hate sells, unfortunately. Unfortunately, in a lot of journalism now, a lot of it is that whole narrative last year with the Sussexes when they left Spotify, and that whole, what it seemed like 3 weeks of this just really horrible narrative that, and the majority of those people know it was lies. They knew it was lies. Especially the US outlets, they know how this works. But seeing how the British press they were getting all the clicks, what did they do? They jumped in. And I remember I think it was was it Rolling Stones or Forbes? One of those, this guy who wrote this article that's called something like Harry and Meghan flop era. Then after that whole thing boiled down, he was on X, saying that, oh, no, that's not the article I wrote. I didn't write the headline. That's not what I meant. And Sussex, the squatties went after him. He promptly had to turn off his comments because, they would not allow him to get away with that. He knew it was a lie. He knew very well what he was saying was completely untrue. And he did it anyway. Why? Cheap clicks. And then try to, sort of like, oh, no, that's not what I meant. I really actually like Harry and Meghan. It was just what was out there. And I just sort of did another take on it. And I was just like, what? So, yeah, eventually had to turn off his comments on that because I didn't even have to do anything. I was just watching it happen. A bunch of squatties went after him. So, yeah. Then he turned off the comments on that post. So, yeah. Let's see. A few more. I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for hanging with me for a little bit. Thank you for indulging our faves and just looking at these photos again. I hope I'm hoping that we get some more photos from whatever they're doing today. But again, if you're looking back at The Hague and looking back at Dusseldorf, we didn't get a whole. I think this time we have a whole lot more photos than we even had at Dusseldorf. And so a lot of the photos didn't come out until much later. So I'm very happy that they did it this way. And so we, then they were in the snow and all of that stuff. Awesome. So again, don't know how much more we'll get, but hopefully we get something. That would be amazing. So anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for the education on pens and inks. I appreciate it. Thank you to our awesome moderator, Lydia. Wait, I didn't even see Lydia today, but hey, Lydia, wherever you are. Church Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Queen, Black Queen, keep Black Queen in your prayers, and also keep Cookies and Cream's son-in-law in your prayers as well. So thank you guys so much, and thank you to our awesome 2 Cents crew who support the channel on a monthly basis, and all of you who support in the chat. I appreciate your donation, your super stickers and super thanks and all of it. Thank you. And to those of you who support via PayPal and Cash App, thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. Anyway, I love you all, and I shall chat with you tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Bye.